TempahZone.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are listening to this podcast right here? This is episode 83 of the TempahZone podcast with your host, me, Amir Max, and that's all facts. My special guest here with me today, y'all. Look, my special guest here is a real lyricist to the core, man. Like, this dude right here is... He's got bars when you don't realize he's got bars, man. And the fact that he also has his brand called Bars Over Bars, like, it fits perfectly. Just everything with the style and even the name, like, you know what you get with this dude right here. Hero The Emcee is on the platform today, y'all. Hero, how's it going, man?
Dude, it's a good fucking ass night to be alive.
I feel that, man. I feel that, bro. And I feel like more people need to be saying that nowadays because there's just so much, just too much tension and crazy shit going on, man, you know? It's like, yo, we needed, you know, the streets needed the Hero MC album, you know what I mean? It's like they needed it in these times, man, you know? How's it feel to have the project out, man? Must be a good feeling.
It is, no pun intended, but it is a weight off my shoulders.
Oh, man, I could have bet 15 tracks. Jesus.
It's also the first it's also the first piece of music I've ever put out where I'm just not nervous about releasing it.
That's dope, man. That's dope to hear.
And I think it's because I purely just made this album for myself. You know?
Yeah, and I can tell, man, because, you know, I feel like on this project you really opened up and you really just, you know, let it all out there. And obviously you kept it going with all the bars still, you know, kept it intact from what you'd have done on other projects. But how do you feel that this project has differed from previous releases that you had, the Eighth Letter? How does this one stand out from the rest?
In the words of J. Cole, it's much darker this time.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's for sure. I mean, the cover, everything about this project, it just felt like a lot more dark. What made you decide to take it that route?
The original concept for this album was it was going to be heavily inspired by 1930s horror. And some of these songs definitely went a different direction than that, but you can kind of feel that sort of like campy horror movie vibe throughout the whole project a little bit.
Definitely, yeah.
It was going to be called Ground Up, which is track number 3 on the project. But afterwards, I don't know, it just turned into something else. But I definitely wanted this album to sound, I wanted it to be like a life after death, like some post-mortem shit, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. And it definitely has those gloomy vibes to it. So regardless of, you know, the change in direction that you had with it, you know, you definitely get that vibe with the project, and obviously with the cover. Who did the cover for you? I thought the cover.
His name's Bug Out. His name's Bug Out. Okay. If you're not familiar with him, he used to be part of a hip hop group called Granite State, but he's a huge guy in fucking New Hampshire and Maine.
Okay.
If you don't live in New Hampshire and Maine, there's no way you know about Bug Out. But
yeah, no, but still, man. Yeah, I mean, I thought the cover definitely, I feel like encapsulates, you know, what you were trying to talk about on the project, man.
I had this project done like halfway through September, but it was just like I couldn't find someone to fucking do cover art for it. I was waiting for cover art forever.
Oh man. Yeah, and that's you know, such an important part with the project, man. You know, people literally will look at the cover and be like, "Damn, I guess I gotta listen to it now." You know, I definitely feel like, you know, the cover definitely, you know, capsule.
Cover art is literally half the battle. You know, and if you're
oh yeah, most definitely.
If you have a dope song but whack ass cover art, it can ruin the song.
Oh yeah, I mean, any time like people. Like, there's certain songs I've heard people talk about where it's like, yeah, like the cover is like really shitty, but like it was like a really great album. Like I think like the Beatles have an album like that. There's like 60 people on it. It's like very clustered, but it's like a really good Beatles album. It's one of the greatest albums. You know what I mean? So like, then again though, regardless, at the end of the day, like you need to, you know, go for like a Dark Side of the Moon type cover. You know, you need something iconic. You know, like that's what you got to go for. And I really think your cover stands out with that, man, especially with everything you're talking about. It's called The Eighth Letter. Just break down for the people why exactly you titled it The Eighth Letter. Because when I heard that, I was like, oh, snap, you know?
This album is heavily inspired by Rakim, who also goes by, who dropped a project called The 18th Letter and also goes by The Eighth Letter, The 18th Letter. And it's even more inspired by Guru, the Seventh Letter Man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess this whole project is just kind of about what legacy do you want to leave, and how and what kind is a legacy important, and how does a legacy get left? And I guess when making that, I was focusing on the 18th letter and the 7th letter and trying to figure out what they did and the legacies they left and legacies they're still leaving. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I just wanted to. I just wanted to call it that.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. Hey, it's, it don't got that be that much to it, and I really feel like it. When I heard the title, it really had me questioning, man. Like, where is the influence coming from on this one? Because with your last project, I knew where you were coming from with Maximum Carnage. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh snap, here we go. And then with this one, I was like, oh shoot, I had to really like look into that. And I really think it was good to give the people some food for thought. And I definitely want to ask you, like, you ever feel like you're educating people with this hip hop history, especially mentioning Guru? Because I feel like not a lot of artists like from Boston, from my experience, know much about Guru, and it's kind of crazy. You'd be surprised, man. Do you ever feel like you're informing people? You ever realize like people, you're teaching people stuff that you thought was common knowledge?
I definitely feel like I'm carrying the Gangstar Foundation torch. Whether some people like that or not, I definitely feel like I'm carrying that torch for the boom bap shit in Boston. But to their credit, Guru did not represent Roxbury as much as he maybe could have. I mean, he left for New York and represented Brooklyn as quickly as he could.
For sure, yeah.
And that's no diss to him. It's just he's from Roxbury, but I think in the end he represented New York hip hop more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the times. It was, it's everything was a little different. So like, there's nothing I can really, say about that. It's just like, it makes sense, it's where he was doing all the shows and stuff. So he's gonna claim it. Yeah.
I mean, in the 90s, if the only way to make it in hip hop was to get New York radio stations to play your stuff, because if New York plays it, everything plays it.
Yeah,
I mean, now because of the internet, you can fucking pop off anywhere. But if you're living in New York in the 90s, you have a very good chance to make it in the hip hop shit.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. It was really like that back then. I mean, like Guru. I mean, so many people assumed Guru's from New York just because he worked with Premier, and a lot of people assume Premier's from New York just because he's worked with Nas. Premier's from Houston. You know what I mean? Like, so Houston, so New York is just one of those places. I mean, it's where hip hop was born. So and being from the 90s, it is what it is. With that being the case, man. But I wanted to get back to just asking you about the rap name, yo. You're now Hero the Emcee.
Yes, sir.
Last 2 times you were on here, you were Hero, and now you added the MC part to it. Why did you do it, and how has it been since the name change, man?
I guess the biggest reasoning behind it was it's just so much easier to find me now. I mean, you type in Hero on Spotify, there's 9 million of them. If I'm at a show and I'm playing and I tell them my name's Hero and they can't find me, I lost them. It's as simple as that. You type in Hero the MC on Google, I'm the first fucking result.
Damn, that's what you want, man, and
that's what you want. You need that searchability. The reasoning behind choosing to spell it out the way I spelled it out, EMCEE, I just felt like it looked better like that on paper.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's been a little bit confusing because some people think it's like the letter M and the letter C, and I gotta be like, no, it's spelled like how the letters sound. So I'm trying to figure that out. But for the meantime, I think the name change has only benefited me so much, and it's narrowed down the type of music that people expect from me, because that's the kind of music I make,
Most definitely, yeah.
And I don't know how familiar you have been with watching me perform over the last few months, but I don't want to brag, but I'm a fucking threat.
You're an MC. You're an MC, bro. When you hop the stage, you're an MC, dude. Like, you're like the definition of an MC. Like, you definitely do when you're on stage, bro. For certain. Okay.
Yeah. I also feel like Chance the Rapper has kind of coined the term the rapper, so that I feel like anybody who wants to call himself that is kind of shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, you can't go by the rapper. You can't do that. Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, you avoided that one, man. When I saw Hero the MC, when I remember you did, I was like, that's perfect. It works right, and like you said, with the name, like you know exactly what you're gonna get from a Hero to MC. Like it's about to go down. So
Yeah, and since the name change, I just feel like the branding of myself has been so locked in. Everything I post on Instagram just has my logo and has my brand, and it's been getting super good engagement as far as likes and shares and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Shit's just been good since I fucking changed the name.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy what that can do. It's just it's you hear all the stories with artists when they change their names and how things just take off, man. Like with Two Chains, I saw him in an interview. When he went from Titty Boy to Two Chains, it was literally night and day his career. You know what I mean? And those are sometimes it's the moves you got to make to keep it going, man. And I definitely it's dope to see you. You're gaining mad followers. I see you, bro. It's like you're really like climbing up, and so I really think it's which you did with the name change and bars over bars too, which I want to ask you about.
Mhm.
I really love what you're doing with bars over bars. It's not only provided opportunity for me, your boy. You've helped me out get some shows. But you've helped out a lot of artists. Do their thing, man, and do it in a cool way, get shows and promote it. How has that all been going on since the quarantine? Because it's been
it's been strange.
Shows.
I think quarantine has really showed us, not only at Bars Over Bars, but as a city and a nation as a whole, like who really wants this shit. If you're a promoter and you're still throwing shows during quarantine, you fucking love throwing shows. Yeah, and if you're not, then you don't. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna name any names. We can talk after if you want. But there are just people who are definitely in this for the money. And right now, with how low capacity shows have to be, if any capacity, there's no opportunities to make money. I'm pretty much breaking even every show, so I'm super thankful for that. But there's definitely scenarios where maybe I wouldn't, and that would suck. But I would still keep doing it and keep moving forward. Right now with Bars Over Bars, we're throwing about 4 shows a month, which is pretty fucking good.
That's crazy, man. Even without COVID, that's still crazy.
Yeah, I've still played like 60 shows this year. It's
have you done more shows this year than last year?
Almost. I did 60 shows last year, and I'm on track to do a little bit more than that this year. Probably like around 70.
Damn, man. You got it on lock, man. That's what I'm talking about, dog.
but like we've been throwing shit at like sneaker stores and boxing gyms and comic shops, and it's like the definition of a venue is being really stretched out right now. You can really throw shit anywhere. Fucking do it at your house, Yeah,
oh yeah.
If you want to rap, just live stream you rapping at your house. I mean, this whole fucking place is a venue if you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, man. You can make any venue like that. I've done the basement shows in the past before, man. You know what I'm saying? And they're lit. Those are great times. You know what I'm saying? Like, not all these shows have to be these big venues. And I think a lot of people, when it comes to performing, they feel like it's either it's that way or no way. Like, I'm not performing there. I'm not doing that. Yeah. Like, that's that. Oh, no, on a Tuesday? No, I perform on Fridays and Saturdays. Like, I only perform here. Oh, it's there. Like, people are like that. Rappers literally, like, have that pride is where, like, why, dude? Perform wherever you can. Like, what?
Yeah.
I never understood it.
I don't understand that nonsense either. I mean, I still got rappers who, like, won't drive a half hour to play a show. And it's like, I'll go to fucking New York if someone wants me to go to you want me tonight? I'm there. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing about Bars Over Bars, which I've been trying to focus on because it's not just me, but my partner Stewie Gray dropped out because he's currently not making music anymore, so he's kind of done with that part of his life. The thing about Bars Over Bars is that we've been focusing on the small, intimate shows since we started. You throw a show at Dorchester Art Project that fits 50 people in there. If you can fit 50 people in there, it's a fucking sold out experience. If you play a show at the Middle East downstairs, which holds 500 and only 100 people show up, you feel like you've been jacked.
Yeah.
You feel like it's a ghost town. Even in reality, you can fit 100 people is in the Middle East is more than you can fit in Dorchester Art Project. You feel like you feel like there's no one there, but with the small intimate stuff where like we can throw a show at a sneaker store that holds 30 and we get 30 people in there, it's a fucking good ass show. It's a fucking sold out experience.
Yeah, man, no, definitely. And like you said, with the smaller shows, those smaller venues. I mean, even J. Cole has mentioned how, like, those type of shows are just different. Like, some of the more iconic performances that artists have are those smaller venues. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of just dope stuff that I feel people can get, just performing there, man. And I definitely want to say it's really dope that you're providing, the opportunity for the artists to do their thing, man. Because I think it's so important for artists to get their reps up with performing and do it as much as they can, because that's such a pivotal part to being an artist. If you have a solid live performance, like I always see that as half the battle. I've always seen that as half the battle. You know what I mean?
I mean, the only reason I know the amount of people that I do and have the amount of fans that I have is because I've played so many fucking shows. Like, exactly. I wouldn't fucking know Amir Max if I wasn't doing 20 shows a month.
Yeah, man, for real.
I'm about to keel over any second.
Yeah. Yo, man, yeah, because like I have seen you at a bunch of venues in Cambridge. We just I think it was like probably like 2 events we just ended up at. 3 events. It was like, oh, we're on the lineup, or like, we know people here. You know what I mean? So, and that's the other thing too with performing. It's the networking part, man. Like so you get so much networking done with every show. Like every show that you perform, like you should, like, while you also worrying about your performance being dope, you should be focusing on how many people can I meet here? How many, can I network with anyone, talk to anyone, just get my word out there. Like that should be the mentality with performing.
Yeah. I mean, if every time I get a business card from a rapper, I make it a point to follow him. It's just the principle of it. And when somebody's like, yeah, just shoot me a follow. Like I forget, hand me a card. And then I will never, ever, ever forget.
Yeah, the card. Hey, through all this technology, a card is still pretty damn useful.
Definitely.
Like I was looking through my drawer recently. I had like these bunch of cards, and I actually looked through it. Like from a few months ago. I was like, oh shoot, like I might hit this dude up. Like it's like so like them cards still come in handy. So I definitely say artists definitely get your cards up. You know what I'm saying? Still pass that out there.
Yeah, I mean, people like underestimate the amount of influence fucking physical shit can have. I mean, I have a fucking Ape the Grim CD in my car that I see every single day. Yeah. Selling a CD I've never listened to it, but selling a CD to an artist, and even if it just sits in their car for 5 years, that the thought of you never leaves their mind.
Yeah. No, definitely, to have that physical copy is just right there. And, in a day and age where, this desktop I'm using to record on, I don't even got a CD player on it, regardless of how much money it is. Like a CD is still cool to get. That physical shit is still cool to get. Like vinyl, I would love to have vinyl for my own music, man. I feel like I'd see you having the vinyl for the 8th letter. I could see you doing that. Is that in the works?
That's in the works.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. I think that's I think vinyl is, it's making a little resurgence. So I definitely think that's not a bad way to go about it. But yo, man, let's talk about, let's get back to talking about the 8th letter. 15 tracks. Must have taken you a while to put this one together, but I want to ask you particularly about the Reminisce tracks. I have never heard you open up like this, man. Like through all like listening to, like not like this. I really thought you really just, broke it down. And I feel like Reminisce Part 1 is very deep, and I know you're getting your shit off in that. I want to ask you about Reminisce Part 2. I could ask you about damn near every track on this project, but I want to ask you about this song in particular, because I feel like right now with everything going on with just the beef and gun violence and all this shit going on and just the rap game, was it hard to write this song? Did you kind of have to take your time with it, or was it just like, nah, I gotta just get this off my chest? Like, what was it like?
I kind of started writing that song right after Nipsey died in April last year.
Yeah.
It's a tragic loss to the rap game, a tragic loss to his family in Los Angeles, and the whole hip hop game as a whole is a tragic loss.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
But the track's more about the opening line. Once you see to the L, man, they'll always reminisce on you. Once you lose, once you die, it becomes this like, damn, I wish he would come back, and I wish he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
It's also about not appreciating people until they're gone. there's a song on Mission Hill called "All in My Head,"
Mm-hmm.
which basically talks about a little bit. It talks a little bit about Triple X and how like he was in a case. He beat the shit out of his
Yeah.
pregnant girlfriend, and
Yep.
a lot of people hated him for that.
Yep.
I'd say a majority of his fans dropped off because of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And then he dies, and all of a sudden he's on every T-shirt, and he's the next Tupac, and he's the best rapper that ever lived, and it's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not hating his career or hating on his life. It's just like
That's
once
real
you
shit, though.
once you die, there's an impossible standard that is an impossible goal that has been set for you, and you are just the greatest that ever did it. Would Biggie and Tupac be the greatest rappers alive if they were still alive, or would they drop a bad album like Eminem and now they're considered whack? You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
that's kind of what this album is about for the most part. Reminisce Part 2 is a track that follows up Part 1, and it's about that rapper's stigma. It's about that life that when you die, the legacy you leave is sort of blown up into fucking proportions. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Hey, you know, rest in peace to King Von, who had passed away recently. I was just looking through comments from 21 Savage. He had a performance on Jimmy Fallon, and he had paid tribute to King Von and called him a legend. Then you had people in the comments saying, "We're just gonna call anyone that dies now a legend." And hey, it's like, you know, it's not even at the time and place to say those things, but I understand like where they're coming from. It's to be a legend is a very big title to a lot of people's eyes. So I feel like a lot of people, when it's like you're just calling anyone, like anyone that dies a legend, it's like, is that really the case? But it's like, let people, my opinion, I just say, just let people look at it how they want to look at it. Because I think a lot of people just, at the end of the day, when you do pass, it is that powerful of a thing where people do look at you in this way, because that's the end of the story. So like, I can't really knock anyone when they say that, but I do understand where they come from. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a tricky one though. Yeah, man.
There's no right answers, man.
Yeah, there's no right answers.
it's just one of those things where we could talk about it and debate about it for hours, but there's no right answer.
Yeah, man. What I will say though is it's unfortunate that there's just this stigma in the rap game right now, and a lot of artists who do rap that street life and all that stuff, they're very scared right now. The bigger artists are like, this is, Freddie Gibbs and Jim Jones are like, rap is one of the most dangerous jobs. Being a rapper is one of the most dangerous professions. Like, if you're really at this, like, this shit's dangerous. Like, people are out to get you. It's messed up. Like, it's sad to see King Von pass. It's sad to see MO3 pass. Like, these guys were like getting it rolling and people took them out. And it's just, it's very unfortunate seeing. I really do hate that stigma in the rap game, man. It's a very unfortunate thing. But hopefully things can change, Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. That's definitely all I can say about that, man. I definitely want to move on to something that's a little lighter. But what I will say about that, song is that it's crazy how, when I listened to it, the interpretation I got and you broke it down, it's definitely, I didn't look at it the way you were, mentioning it. So that's definitely, it goes to show, man, the message and how it breaks down. But I want to just talk about the sequencing of the album, the structure of the album, man. I feel like a lot of artists don't pay attention to the fact that the way songs are ordered from 1 to 15, that every order is calculated. Do you feel that artists are still trying to do this nowadays? Do you feel like this has become a dying art form?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of sequenced my album in a way where where I knew what I wanted for the intro and I knew what I wanted for the outro. I just had to figure out how to get from A to B. I didn't want to put 2 tracks with 3 hooks and 2 16-bar verses right next to each other.
Yeah.
So I sort of broke it down in a way where what's the least repetitive listen? And this is what's the least repetitive listen while also telling a cohesive story through the tracks. And this is the best lineup I could get.
But did it take a while for you to come up with that structure? Or do you feel like it was just something for you that came easy to you?
I just sat down with my friend Cam and we just kind of figured out and he listened to it a bunch of times. I listened to it a bunch of times. And we just kind of figured out, like I said, the least repetitive listen while also keeping a keeping a cohesive story. There's a few tracks I knew that I wanted closer to the end, and a few I wanted closer to the beginning, some in the middle. I just had to kind of work around the finer details to figure out what would be the least repetitive.
Yeah, no, definitely nothing worse than having a project where it's like, 5 chill songs in a row.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you get a hype song. It's like, yo, like, mix it up a little bit. Like, give me a little bit of, switch up each time, keep me on my toes. Because I feel like a lot of projects nowadays, you can just put that shit on shuffle and ain't even no difference. And I feel like a lot of things can, story can really be told with a project, if, listening to start to finish. I don't know who's listening to albums on shuffle, but, I guess there's people out there who do that, but like, there's people out there who see the features, listen to the features. But yeah, man, I really just like, that was just one of the main things that stood out to me, other than the 15 tracks, which I thought was, I was like, really bold. Was there
I've listened to Pimp a Butterfly a lot, but I can't, like, if any of the tracks come onto my shuffle, I can't listen to them. It is a project that I have to listen from start to finish.
Yeah,
I get no pleasure out of listening to a single song off of To Pimp a Butterfly. It's got to be A to B.
Yeah, I mean, and like the way, like the last couple of seconds on a song, they blend into the next song. I mean, that's like next level album sequencing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't expect. You're not gonna expect that from any artist to do that. Like, it's there's usually special artists who pull that off. But those are the things I feel like is just dying out. You just hope that it can come back into fruition more so, and not just be a big name thing. It could just be anybody who does it. But just because you have skits on a project doesn't mean you went all out. Because sometimes some people's skits are just like some people overdo it. Some people, sometimes people, they're doing too much, so, but it all depends.
Yeah. I mean, this is 15 tracks, 0 skits.
Yeah, man. You had no skits. Yeah, man. That's bold, man. I feel like, when I saw that, I definitely knew you took your time with this project, man. You really, poured your heart and soul into this track, man. The whole thing, I really, really stands out. I got to ask you this next question though, man. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I thought was really, fascinating. As an artist myself, man, for anyone's first time listening, if you don't know, I've always found it weird when someone compares me to a particular artist, and it always feels weird when you get more artists than one. And it's weird, man. I've had 2 people personally hit me up about this song, and then one way back, and they all compared you to Eminem. Mm-hmm. It's a great artist to be compared to. Definitely. I just want to think, what do you think of that?
Well, I mean, statistically, nobody sold more records than Eminem. He sold 80 million more records than Jay-Z. It's sometimes I look at it as a compliment, and sometimes it's like, well, is it just because I'm a white guy who kind of raps whiny?
Yeah, real shit though. It's real shit. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I think maybe I may sound like him at like a hearing glance, but I think I don't rap. I think I don't rap as sort of. I don't flow like Eminem. I rap more like Royce, I think.
Yeah. I see where you're coming. I see where
I'm definitely. I mean, Eminem's not even in my top 20. It's just he's just, I mean, he's a great rapper. He's just not somebody I look to for musical inspiration, I guess.
No,
I mean anybody can rap fucking, I mean, everybody who listen to hip hop can rap the real Slim Shady front to back, but
yeah,
no, he's just not somebody that I think is a big influence on my music as much as other people are.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear you there, and I definitely I feel that when it comes to just Eminem and the style that he brought to the game, it's like the same thing that you could kind of say for like, I know this might sound crazy to some people, but what like the Migos did, like that flow, like Eminem, he back in the lack with the tap in the room in the app, but the raps in the back of the boom, like Eminem was the one, like it's like, damn, this motherfucker rhyming, the scheme, like that's Eminem. So I think a lot of times when artists do that, and they really get their rhyme on, they just kind of just compare it to Eminem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, just Eminem. You rap fast, you're Tech Nine. Oh, you sing autotune, you're fast, you're Roddy Rich. You know what I mean? Like just like whoever they think it is, like you don't even sound like that guy. You know what I mean? So I definitely think it's one of those things. But anytime you get compared to a big name artist, you definitely, you can't get mad at that. You know,
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. It's cool. It's cool that people are hitting you up though. I've been hearing similar things, like the amount of people I've worked with on this project and the amount of reshares I've got because of that is fucking amazing. It's just, I don't know why people in Boston don't want to work together as much as they should. But like, if I have 3,000 followers and you have 3,000 followers and we make a song together, that's like a 6,000 follower outreach we have. You know, nobody does this shit by themselves, and it's so cool that like people are hitting us up both about certain features and shit.
Yeah, man, I really think that's just just dope to see, and I love that. You had so many features on this project. It's something I've been trying to do more of. I try to, get it out there as much as possible. You really pull that shit off, man. I mean, did it take some time? Did you have to, did it, take a while to put that all together, make sure everything sounded good? Because, even with you and I had to re-record my verse, you know what I'm saying? So I could imagine, you work with other people, the certain roadblocks that can hit, what was that like to get all those features on the project?
There were a few tracks I had no idea who I wanted to get. There are a few tracks that I didn't even know I wanted features on, but I knew I wanted our shit on the project. It just had to be perfect, and I think the final product is pretty close to that.
Oh man,
it's a fucking banger.
Yeah, taking names. Yeah, I'm on Hero's project, by the way, just to make it clear to people. Yeah, we have a song called "Taking Names" on there, man. It's crazy how that one came about though, because it was just like
we've been sleeping on that one for a while.
Yeah, it's like back in January I wrote that shit. It's funny because I'm like, people hit me up like I fuck with that verse. It's like, I wrote that like in January. It's kind of funny, but like it's crazy how that be sometimes. But
besides Reminisce Part 1, that's the only song that wasn't written and recorded between March and May of this year.
Really? Yeah.
Reminisce Part 1 is a track that I wrote and recorded in 2016. And I've just been sleeping. And I knew I had this concept for an album. I made that track right after I dropped Roxbury, and I knew I had this concept for an album, but I didn't know how I wanted to do it, so I tabled it, and then I came back to it. And now here we are.
Wow, dude. Now I think about it. Did you record that like back in 2016? Like,
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I could tell by your rapping voice there was something different about that one. I knew there was something different with just everything. It was a dope track. It was just something different. Yeah, you were younger. Yeah, that makes sense now. Okay. Yeah, man. We're talking about Eminem. He's a GOAT. So I want to ask you this one, man. Off the top. Or if, I don't know if it's something you have written down that you have in stone, but, just listen to your album. I gotta ask you, man, who are your top 3 rappers of all time, dead or alive?
So it's Guru, number 1. He left behind a legacy that is untouchable. He will forever be my favorite rapper. There is nobody else that will ever surpass him, ever. And you can hold that, and that is, those words are timeless. Just like his music, the shit I just said was timeless. My second favorite is Royce the 5'9". He's getting better. Hip hop sleeps on Royce, but he's getting better and better and better every single time he raps.
Like after Book of Ryan, it's just it's just everything changed. Yeah.
And now he's in his fucking producer shit. He just produced a whole album that came out in February.
Yeah, he's a good producer too. It's crazy, man. Like, not done yet,
Yeah. It's crazy to see where he's going to go with that. Besides that, my top 10 list, besides 1 and 2, my top 10 list kind of changes all the time. I think right now it's Jay-Z for number 3.
That's a fair number 3.
if you're familiar with any of my lyrics, I flip Jay-Z lines all the fucking time. He's just... It's unmatched, and even though he's not rapping as much as he used to, he's another guy where his music is just fucking timeless.
Yeah, man. I it's crazy growing up. I feel like a lot of people always debated like Jay-Z, Nas, and I've always heard so many people. I've heard crazy shit people say about Jay-Z, like he's not even that good of a rapper. I've heard that more times than I should have in my lifetime, man. No pun intended. But you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like I almost feel like Jay-Z's bars get slept on. Like it's weird. Like, do you ever feel that way? Like have you ever heard people like I mean, I feel like people say about Nas too. People just like,
Yeah.
don't get overrated.
Well,
Yeah.
Nas and Jay-Z are my 3 and 4, and they always get fucking flopped.
Yeah.
I always flip flop them depending on like what I'm fucking listening to that day.
Yeah, I feel you.
I think I heard, I don't know if it's true, but there's stories about how Jay-Z just freestyles everything. You know?
I wonder how. I mean, it's definitely true to an extent, but I don't know how. I don't know if he did it for every single song. You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn. I mean, if he did, then I mean, that's why he's the GOAT to a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, who the hell can just freestyle hits? You know?
I do think Jay-Z gets slept on though a lot.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times people just equate his success to the fact that he's with Beyonce, who's arguably more popular than him. You know, like who's like they could easily say Beyonce. I mean, she might not make as much money, but in terms, actually makes damn close to it. But so that's the thing too. So I think a lot of times you got put that into the equation. But yeah, man, that's a solid 2 that you told me, man. It definitely shows me that you've done your you have your hip hop research. And that's obviously clear considering the style you got, man. Obviously, obviously you got that style on deck, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm very humble. But when you're on the mic, you have to rap like you're the greatest alive. I think you need that attitude. And it's like listening back to my shit, even this album, I'm like, oh my fucking God. Like, I'm just like, I'm fucking locked in and I'm a mad fucking rapper. It's crazy the shit that I'm saying. I don't even understand. Like when sometimes I'll write shit and I don't realize
till after you wrote it.
I don't realize till after I wrote it that like
it's like I just did a triple entendre.
All this shit connects and it's just fucking crazy.
Yeah,
they're like, how'd you come up with that? And I'm like,
I don't know. Yeah, the word just came together. I wrote this line and all of a sudden I got a triple entendre with alliteration on it. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. You just do it on accident.
Dark Knight's coming, ain't no money for bail. It can't be April in my city, and we still be expecting hell.
People go crazy over that line. Everyone catches that line the first time. You're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, that's that one. Is definitely one like, that's just a bar and a half, man. There was some points I was listening to like the project. I was like, man, the wordplay, man. Like it's just you sneak it in there. You know what I mean? And I think that's also a dying art form is the wordplay type shit. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times people do similes and metaphors and not a lot of wordplay type stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's always refreshing to see that happen though, man. I want to ask you though, man, I've been watching a lot of battle rap recently. Do you watch battle rap at all?
I am not as familiar with the battle rap scene as many think I am.
Okay.
It's just, I mean, I'll catch it every once in a while, but it's not something. It's like General Hospital. Like I'll watch it if it's on.
Yeah, it's like it's on the background.
I have no fucking idea who these people are, but like I'll watch it if it's on.
No, I feel you. I only ask because, like, for myself, whenever I'm going to like really find some bars and like really hear some motherfuckers do some shit, I always just check, just go to battle rap. You'll see some people say some wild shit. You know what I mean? So it's definitely, it's always good, refreshing to see lyricism like that, no compromise with the beat. They just go in. So, it's really dope, man. But Hero, man, Hero the MC on the TempahZone podcast. I'm really happy to have you on the show today, man. We're running close on the time right here. Is there anything that you want to plug for the people before we bounce out of the Zoom?
This is going up Wednesday, right? Sometime this week.
Yes. So
me and you have a show on Monday.
Yes, promote that
at fucking Midway Cafe in Jamaica Plain.
Yes, sir.
It's completely live stream. But you can bring a few guests if you want to bring a few guests.
Yeah. On the low.
You can bring a few guests if you want to bring a few guests.
Yeah.
But besides that, I'm Hero The Emcee, HeroTheEmcee. I just dropped an album called The Eighth Letter. If you didn't know by the whole episode we just filmed.
If you weren't paying attention, I dropped an album.
I run a booking company called Bars Over Bars, and we're all about throwing shows completely free for the artists. So if you're an artist who is sick of paying to perform, please hit me up and we can do something about that.
Hell yeah. Hero the MC.
Besides that, that's all I got.
Hell yeah, man. Hero, thank you very, very much for being on this episode. Really appreciate it, man. It's always good having you on.
Of course.
Episode 83, y'all. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're going to have another one for y'all coming in 5-6 days after this one, as soon as possible. All right. I got you with another episode coming soon. All right. Peace out.